Hello, everybody. Kayla again. I am wanting to talk to you a little bit about just general APA formatting. I'm not going to dive too deep into everything because there's so much when it comes to APA formatting. However, I thought that I would run you through some general overview, basic need to knows. So I made this little fake paper, and I'm going to post this fake paper up for you all as well. Sorry if you're seeing my random notifications. I'm gonna post this fake paper for you as well, but you'll see here's my title of my project here in the top half of the paper bolded. So this is exactly how your title page should look. So I'm gonna back up a little bit just so you can see. You have your title, it's in the center, it's bolded. This is about 3 or 4 spaces down. APA says that it needs to be in the top half of the paper, so I usually just do 4 double space clicks. After that, on your title page, you want your name, the name of the university, the course number, followed by the course name, your instructor's name, a lot of people forget that, and the due date. Notice also here that everything is double spaced. In between my title and my name, I have 2 double spaces. So I just go click, click, and that's when I would start my other stuff. And my page numbers also start right here. So number 1, my title page. This is a little bit different than previous APA formatting, but there's lots of examples online. This is exactly how it should look though. Okay, some general formatting when it comes to your actual paper. So notice now I'm starting on page 2. I would repeat my title here, same title as above, bolded and in the center. Now, whether you do other little subheadings like intro, methods, yada yada, that's kind of up to what your professor says. So I didn't add any here because I didn't want you to think that it was part of APA formatting to have all that. That's kind of instructor specific. So you'll notice, again, everything is double spaced. I use Times New Roman 12, but APA says it needs to be legible and accessible font. So I gave you a couple other ideas if Times really isn't your thing. To backtrack, some of y'all had different headers. APA used to have a running head that had the title on everyone. Nope, just the page number from here on out. So title bolded, and then this is where the body of my paper would start. Already talked about title is repeated at the top. We talked in class that there's only 1 space after each period. The margins are it's usually the default in Word, 1 inch all around. Everything's double spaced. That includes my title page and my reference page. Page numbers are in the upper right-hand corner. Mention that. So that's some general stuff. Font we talked about as well. So I go into the next part here. And the next thing I want to talk about is in-text citations. So again, we cannot go through all of these because there's like 400 different ways. You can have a web page, you can have a government document, you can have a book or something with many authors or something with just one. So I did some of the common ones, but notice this link, which I'll come back to at the end, is embedded for some specifics. So notice if there's an article, and these are not direct quotes, these are just summarizing points. This is me summarizing whatever from an article that has one author. So we'll say that Dean Katrine wrote this, so we'll put tutor lock, comma, and the year. Now say that it has 2 authors. Okay, so same thing, I summarize my points. At the end of that, I do the name of the first author, the name of the second author, and the year. Notice this is not the and, A-N-D, it is the ampersand. Okay, now let's say it has 6 authors. Anything 3 and up, you're gonna do et al. Notice it's E-T space A-L period. Now it is not E-T period. The period comes after the A-L. APA says that if it has 3 or more authors, then you just go ahead and list the first one. It used to be that the first time you write out every single author, but now you don't. So 3 or more, you put the first author, ET space AL period after the AL, comma, the year. Like I said, there's so many different ways to do that. So if you have something specific, just go directly to this link and it'll help you out. So notice in-text citations, and the list goes on. It has videos too. You can probably see that coming up, but the list goes on and on. It won't leave you guessing. Anything you have should be in here. All right, so speaking of references, as we mentioned in class, you definitely don't want to just be copying and pasting them from a search engine. They need to be formatted and edited. They all need to match each other. So if you copy and paste it from the search engine, sometimes it might capitalize everything in the title. Sometimes it may only capitalize some things in the title. So make sure you're actually going and looking at your references one by one. And I promise you, after you look at a few, it does start to become more common knowledge. You get a little bit comfier with it and how they should look. The first couple kind of look weird, and then you get used to it. But they should match each other in terms of capitalization and punctuation. And every piece of the reference has a purpose. It shouldn't just feel like a bunch of jumbled things together. So I put some examples on the next page, but just how we looked at the Purdue OWL website, they have a bunch of stuff on this too. Look at all this stuff for the reference list. Everything you can think of, they have examples of. So last thing, and this one, I want to say last but not least, please, 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 whatever you turn in, make sure you proofread it for general presentation. So look at this sentence right here. This is hard to verbalize, but mid-smashing textiles, punctuation, see there's not a space here or here, typos, it just comes off as you went through it really quickly and almost didn't care to go back and just make it look nice. So if you miss something, general or genuine mistake on a reference, that's going to be way harder to catch if all your font is matching, the size is matching. If you have one period off, but everything else is matching, that's going to be way harder to find and for the lay reader to notice. But this stuff kind of jumps out to me. It just looks weird, and if you have a bunch of this together, it makes the paper come off, in my opinion, a little bit unprofessional. So just make sure that your general presentation, when somebody looks at the paper, it should look pretty crisp, pretty clean, and that can really go a long way. It shows that you put your time into it. All right, last little bit. I'm trying to keep this under 10 minutes. So I put one example of a book, a manuscript, and a web page, and these are obviously all fake, but it kind of gives you the breakdown of how to do it, and they're all a little bit different. Something I do want to post or put your attention to, though, is notice this would be a journal article, just like a bunch. We've been through so many of these in class. Notice that it's not common for you to capitalize all the words in the article. So usually just do the first letter unless it's a proper noun. So if it was like someone's name or a place, Washington, then you would capitalize that. But other than that, the rest of it isn't capitalized. However, the name of the journal would be capitalized like a title or like a proper noun is. Again, just make sure that you're being consistent. And last little bit here, when it comes to web pages, APA says that if you put in a URL, it's implied that that's where you got the information from. So your reference does not need to say retrieved from URL. Just put the URL. Again, notice that this is double spaced. It has a hanging indent style, so that means it starts on the edge and then it goes in. This is all one and it goes in on the second line. This is all one and it goes in on the second line. And always put the DOI if it's available. That's the digital object identifier. Most of the references you're using, you'd be able to find them if you're searching from PubMed or whatnot. So if that's available, please make sure to include that as well. Just an easy way to locate the article for the reader. All right, y'all, I'm here to help. This is a little start for you, but make sure before you turn in your stuff, you take the time to do a little research on your APA formatting. Good luck.